Today we're out at a $2 million listing here in Orono, Minnesota. This home is loaded with Lutron and Crestron technology, but it was installed in the year 2000. So we're going to go through and talk about the different components, where the value is still within the infrastructure, and what you could do to upgrade this system. Let's go check it out. Here on the exterior of the house, we have beautiful landscape lighting throughout, all controlled through their Lutron system professionally. And then we've got some cameras here in the corners. These cameras honestly are a little bit dated. Maybe you could reuse the wires if there's Ethernet there. Otherwise, I would just recommend running new cameras and just use those same locations. So it wouldn't be very difficult to go up through the attic and install a more updated system. Well, let's go inside and check the place out. Starting here in the foyer, as we enter the front door, we're greeted by these keypads here. So standard issue security system, very easily upgraded. Some of the wired sensors probably still work. In the event that there's ones that aren't working, you just replace them with wireless ones. But here's an example of a motion sensor there. Then we've got the Lutron keypads here. And so instead of having a bank of switches, this would represent 4 different switches, we have these nice push buttons. So this is nice, looks really nice. There's obviously no screws, so you have this nice plate that pops on. And this is the same as the current Lutron, so if you were to get like a Caseta or something, it just hides it really well. And so this is actually low voltage. All of the load control in this house is controlled in the basement, and we'll talk about that later. But this enables just having this nice clean look, and they've actually matched the color of the faceplate here with the wall, which is kind of a subtle detail that you're going to find in luxury property. So looks really nice. If a buyer were to come in and want to make changes here, you can actually change these keypads out. They have more modern versions of them, like the Palladium lineup, a nice touch button with the lighting behind it. And so you can actually just swap these out and go from there. So great system there. Let's move on this way through the home into this dining space. An often overlooked feature of a luxury home like this is going to be the surround sound system. So this would be individually zoned audio. So if you wanted to have music playing here in the dining room, it could be different than what's playing in the bedroom, or it could all be the same. That way, instead of having wireless speakers throughout your house, you're just going to have one wired system. One thing that's kind of changed over time is our inputs. So if we think about when this home was built in the 2000s, what were we using back then? It would be more of like an iPad perhaps, or an iPod. Now we're streaming everything, and so you could upgrade with like a Sonos as an input measure. You could stream from your phone via Bluetooth, and so all of that is going to be upgradable through the rack system. So here we have a relic of the past. This is a touch panel that you can still see that the buttons are there. They're not currently doing anything. So this is actually a part of the Crestron system. There is wiring in here that is connected to the main system, and so what you can do is either pull this out, bury it, get rid of it if you don't want it, or replace it with a new upgraded system. And I would actually probably move this up to here. I imagine the person that built the house was either short or in a wheelchair because all of the controls are much lower than you would typically see. So you can actually upgrade the keypads. You can utilize this existing wiring that includes the power and the control wires that all go back to that central spot. So if you wanted to, that's something that you could look at upgrading. Here's an example of a more modern version. This is a Crestron system. So they have it set to pull up the cameras. It looks like, yeah, if we go to the main screen, we can see that it's not currently activated. We don't have the weather. We don't have any camera feeds coming up. But using an integrator, you would be able to take this and say, okay, I want this to be, currently it's like his satellite music. I want this to be my Sonos. I want this channel to be whatever. You'd be able to reuse the same keypad. So there's nothing wrong with the keypad, it just needs to be reprogrammed. So moving onwards this way. At the entrance of the garage here, we have a RF keypad. So you may have like a fob or like one of these, classic keypads for your office. Ooh, look, it even made the beep. Obviously, mine isn't programmed for theirs, but you could get this replaced, you could get it redone, but that's just going to be access control for a security system, and so you could have it set to arm, disarm, you could have it set for your locks and stuff as well, but utilizing the wiring in the stuff that's already there. Same with the keypad, we can get that changed if you wanted to. Out here in the garage is some of my favorite features. You may have noticed as we're walking through the house that they've got a central vac, and so all that's going to route out here. A very nice system to have. I'm an electric vehicle driver, so I love the fact that they have a charger here. As more cars are starting to adapt the North American charging standard, which is the Tesla plug here, that's going to be a more sought after feature. Their wiring, their panel is not here in the garage, so it was probably pretty costly for them to run this out there. So good value for whoever is going to purchase this home. Let's head back inside because it's a little bit cold in here. Again, the keypad. All right, as we come into the kitchen here, another example of the keypad. And so look at all the different scenes that we have. So if we didn't have these keypads, you would be looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 switches. Can you imagine 10 switches in this one spot? Like, that would be hideous. And you'd be like, what's this do? What's this one do? Whereas this, they're nicely labeled. And again, if they wanted to upgrade this, they could do a different keypad. They can actually reprogram, reprint all these keys. So if you wanted to have all on, all off, any combination, you can do that. Same with like the different dim level settings. And so this is the Lutron system. It's a very good system. While I noticed the rest of the house has integrated shades through the Lutron system, in this room, they must have added this after the fact because it's a Somfy system. But there you go. Very quiet operation. Uses this little remote. Not bad. Oh, we still have the more zones of audio here. You really can't see the technology, which is kind of nice. It's just blends in seamlessly. Even in this main living area here, we've got the TV, but it's tucked away behind this cabinetry. Open this up, you'll see your hidden TV. But beyond that, the components themselves are all going to be hidden away. So here we have all of the control units for this particular TV. They've got these sensors that are routing the signal, so that way you're able to just use one remote and everything's just kind of being controlled here. So simplify things and then just kind of hidden away. Same with the speakers. They're all kind of tucked underneath here, and they've got that nice fabric. Let's go check out the bedroom and office. So this office here, we've got the keypads again. Looks good. See, they've matched the color to the wall. So the attention to detail is really good. We've got the zone of audio. They were smart enough to put outlets up here so that when you're working at the desk, you have access to that without having to snake the cords down. And then over here, we've got another Crestron keypad. So when that's programmed, they would be able to pull up the camera feeds, control different parts of the house, which is right there. Very convenient. One feature that I really like about this house is they went with motorized shades. So we can just hit one button here and voila, this very nice architectural looking shade is going to lower. And that's a pretty big window right there. And they were able to do it all at one giant blind. So pretty heavy duty motors lifting that system. It's probably either going to be a Lutron or a Crestron. I'm thinking it's Lutron, but all controlled electronically, of course. So in their primary suite here, they've got all the controls again. One of the things I like is you've got the welcome button. So there we go, all that turned off at once. A lot of times what people are going to do is they're going to put an all off button here, like a good night button, and then do something similar by the garage entry or the front door. That way you're not running around hitting all the different buttons. But also with a Crestron or a Lutron system, you can control everything from the app on your phone. You can also set it with your voice assistant, whether that's your Amazon, your Google, or Josh.ai is one that's gaining popularity. So here we are in the basement. This is going to be the main entertainment area. We've got a very large TV. They could have done a projector, but I think they made the right choice doing a TV here because the ambient light that they're going to get from the outdoors. And so by going this route, they're not going to have to worry about reflection quite as much. And so what they've done that's really cool, and I opened it all up so you guys can see, is that hidden behind all of these is going to be the speakers. And then we've got all of the amplifiers right here with the watt box protecting it. So really, powering all the speakers, powering the television. Over here we've got more of the same. And then this last cabinet here that's kind of hidden away is where all of the devices would go. And so all the cabling is actually run right there. And so you're going to do your you're going to do the control right there. So yeah, I'll close all this up. You can see how the tech just blends in. We're not aware that it's there. You may have seen a universal remote before. You probably haven't seen one quite like this. So this is an older one. You can easily upgrade this. For about $1,000 right now, they have a very state-of-the-art version of this remote that's a little nicer, but this one still functions. So you can do power on, power off, and then all the inputs will be controlled here. So one remote to do everything, whereas if I were to look in this drawer over here, as I found earlier, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different remotes that could be used to control all the different devices. And so, I guess this one's a universal one, but what's a better solution? Having to turn on the TV, the receiver, all the different inputs individually, or would you rather just have one remote that's very user friendly, very intuitive? You can just, okay, I want to watch TV, I want to watch Netflix, and you just select it right on there. Unfortunately, it's unplugged right now, so I can't demonstrate that for you guys. But the new owner is going to be able to come in, customize their inputs for what they want. If they want to upgrade some of these components, it's pretty straightforward. I would recommend contacting an integrator. Check out CIDIA, C-I-D-I-A. That is just an association of people that just understand the technology and can get it working for you. So let's go check out this room. So clearly this room was used as an office. We've got the controls on the wall over there, and then on this side we've got a lot of cabling, right? So we got power cables, and we got multiple Ethernet ports. So this is what you would call like a 3+1. So what you could do is video distribution over that, as well as control. They've got all these different spots here, and so they have a very robust network within this house. So the value here really is that, like, the pre-wire. You could go ahead and put any different components you want in this house, but you've got the wired Ethernet, and so you don't have to worry about wireless signal. Whenever you can, it's always best to just hardwire things, and so having that in place is great. Same with the audio distribution. Speakers should last at least 30 years, so you're probably good with using the ones that are in the ceiling currently, but if you wanted to, you could upgrade those to like a Sonance system, but you're just having to replace the speakers themselves. You're not having to rerun the wire. That low voltage wire is in place, and speaker wire is speaker wire, so it still works. On my right, we've got some mechanicals, but it's not really about tech, so we're going to move on to the other mechanical room, which is where the rack is located. All right, here we are at the end of the hall in the second mechanical room. So what's interesting about this is we've got the entire load distribution. So this is a Lutron system. All those little keypads that we looked at, they all route back to the low voltage enclosure. And so that's where these wires are all coming in. And that's actually controlling the relays. So each of these in here actually represents individual light switches. So instead of having a light switch at the location of the room, they're all essentially located right here, and so everything can be controlled that way. That allows you to set scenes, use just one button to turn everything on or off, and then also integrating with the other systems. So you could do phone control, you can have other devices control this. Lutron plays really well with other systems. It's really tried and true system. Definitely the best in class that you can get. And all of this infrastructure is worth a pretty penny, obviously, but it's, you can update the keypads and you can still use these. Like, this is never going to go out of date. It simply is a relay and it flips the switch on or off, or for some, if it's dimming, then it's handling that. So really cool to see that in this house. And then behind you here is going to be the rack. So this is a Crestron system. This system is likely original in the house or was added later. A lot of these components are still really good. So the audio distribution processor, we're just taking the different signals and saying, okay, which rooms need the signal? And then it's saying, okay, here's how much, or like, here's the volume for that one, and this one goes to that room, this one goes to the other room. So all of that is controlled through this system. You could modernize this by adding new inputs. So instead of having an iPod, you would have like a Sonos system, and that would just get added into the rack and then distributed throughout the house, and allow you to do like control from your phone, of course. So we have the media distribution as well. This is going to power the feeder system out there. And so instead of having all of the systems like the inputs over there, they're actually housed here. That way you can have climate control. You can send it out to different parts of the house if you so desire. But you could come in and put your Apple TV, like your Xbox, those type of devices here in this rack. And then that's how you would control it. Here we have the router. They went with Arachnus, which is a very high quality system. So this is going to power all of the Ethernet throughout the house. They could also add on wireless access points if they wanted to, and have that all controlled through that system. The watt box here, that just makes sure that the voltage remains constant for all this very sensitive equipment. And then down here we have systems. This is going to be amplifiers for the audio distribution. And so the brains here of the Crestron system could be upgraded as well if you wanted to modernize that, add different inputs. But what's really cool, and you see this in lots of luxury homes, is just this massive low voltage trunk coming in. And each one of these wires is individually labeled. They're different colors because they're for different purposes. And so I don't know what it is for this one, but yellow could be for security cameras, green could be for data, so on. But they're all nicely labeled. And so if a new owner wants to come in and change things, they would hire an integrator. They're going to come back here and say, okay, well, here's where this one's hooked up. I want to change this out, and then add in the different things, and then upgrade any components. So the system itself still has a lot of value, but really this infrastructure is where the money is at. I mean, this right here alone for a pre-wire on a new build, you're looking at $10,000, $15,000 just to get this out to all the rooms. If you're going to retrofit an existing house, it would be really challenging because you're going to have to put holes in walls. You're going to have to go to the attic. You're going to drop wires back down to bring them. So a lot of value here. All this still good, still functions the way it is, but very upgradable. So yeah. Well, I hope you guys have enjoyed this tour and learned something. Ben, where can people find out more about this property?
Thanks for visiting. You can find it realestatenationteam.com, or this specific listing would be charmingoronohome.com. Check it out.
Awesome. And if you enjoyed this tour, I'm going to have a link on screen right here to go check out more luxury properties loaded with technology. Until next time, take care.